Whoa. Way out there, you can see a little hint of sunlight. Hey Internet, long time no see. I meant to get back to shooting these videos right after AAS, but instead I got a whole bunch of colds and a sinus infection. But now it's February, we've had a super blood moon eclipse thing. Go check out David Kipping's video, I'll link it below. I want to tell a short story today. On Thursday I gave a talk via Skype to a conference that was going on in Sweden. The conference topic was something I've never had the opportunity to speak professionally about. SETI, Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence, or in other words, aliens. This group is called VASCO, the Vanishing and Appearing Source. The point is, they're looking for small changes in how bright stars are, or stars that disappear or pop into existence over a century timescale. The point fundamentally is you're searching for some kind of change in a star that would otherwise be totally unexplainable, so-called impossible variability. So where I fit in on all this. About 10 years ago I was living in a trailer for the summer in the mountains of New Mexico, working at a telescope. It so happens that down the mountain was Roswell. So one weekend that I had off of work, I drove my old Subaru down the mountain, checked out the Alien Area 51 Museum. And it's super hokey, but it was still really fun. I saw this display on the wall in one corner, the Journal of UFO Studies or something. And I had just graduated college, wanting to go to grad school and go on in my studies. And so I was thinking a lot about like, what are the things that I'm interested in? What's the science that I want to be doing? Where do I fit into the landscape that is science? So I ended up sending an email to some friends saying, oh, wouldn't it be hilarious if we wrote an article about next generation telescopes detecting UFOs? So this would be things like the LSST, this telescope. So these are telescopes which take images of the night sky over and over and over and build up essentially a movie. Pretty cool and perfect for detecting aliens, I thought when I was 23. So fast forward a few more years, and I get this idea back in my head. And so I ended up writing the paper that I think to date might be the most important for me. This is not the paper that led to me getting my PhD. This is not the most important scientific discovery that I've been a part of. This is the project that I did in like a weekend that I think demonstrated the kind of creativity and the new kinds of things that I want to work on. I'm not somebody who wants to work on just one thing in one narrow topic. I want to work on lots of different things. And I think this paper, right in the middle of my PhD, was something that demonstrated to myself and to the world who I want to be. That's what I think. That's what I hope this paper was. So here's the paper. Unidentified moving objects in next generation time domain surveys. That's me. So in America we have an unofficial holiday on April 1st called April Fool's Day, where people play pranks, practical jokes. It's a day of merriment and humor, or also just a day of lies. In astronomy we have a similar tradition. If you want to write humorous joke papers, the day that you would post them is on April 1st. It's meant to be an April Fool's joke, but it's only sort of a joke. If we take a picture of the night sky over and over and over, and aliens visit us, we should see that. These are telescopes, these are surveys. They would be perfect for finding things in the night sky, even very faint things, like say alien spacecraft, which are moving around, moving in unexpected ways, even if they're very faint. So my science normally is based on how stars change. A lot of the same algorithms could go into looking for, but I wrote it as an April Fool's paper because I didn't want to be taken too seriously. And in fact, I had some people come back and say to me, that's really cool, it's really creative and clever, but don't you think that's maybe a bit risky at this point in your career to be joking around? No. The odds of landing that perfect magical job in the place you want to be in astronomy is about the same as ending up as a professional football player. It's incredibly hard, and you have to be unbelievably lucky. My opinion has always been, in the face of essentially impossible odds of making it, why worry about doing what other people think I ought to do? I should work on the things that I want to work on. go back to the chair for a dramatic finish. But it was an April Fool's paper, so it's written very like tongue-in-cheek. There's a long, drawn-out analogy involving a rooster, some mention of tinfoil hats, but the idea is serious. If these things are out there in the night sky, as a lot of people think they are, we should see them. And if we don't see them, that means something. So getting back to the Skype talk, my talk was titled SETI with ZTF and LSST. Now, these telescopes are not funded to look for aliens. These missions have very serious, very well thought out science goals. And yet, we ought to at least look. We ought to at least be checking these things out. If we don't, how will we ever know? As Jason Wright recently wrote, SETI is astrobiology research, and they need to be considered together. I had a good reception from the talk. I'm excited that I'm able to actually legitimately bring it into my research portfolio now. Hopefully lay some groundwork for students to work on more creative and speculative side projects, because why else are we here if not to speculate and wonder? That's it.